What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Wow, 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 wow. First of all, first of all, let me start with this. So, for those of you who would have seen the video, the short clip that was played a while ago, the last bit of it is something that is somewhat of a different note from what it usually would be. And that is because this stream is being dedicated to Roger Blue Roger, whichever one you know him as, Roger Dodger, if you know him as that, Roger Dodgy, whatever you want to utilize to, see if you know who I'm talking about. So this match reaction, this live match reaction and analysis is being dedicated to Roger, who I would have been informed passed away. He passed away. It was something that was unexpected to be finding out on Christmas Day. But rest in peace to Roger. I met Roger through Chelsea Perspective, coach's channel, and he was a vivid Chelsea session supporter as well. He always messaged me on X saying that he loved the streams, he loved the player profile analysis videos that I do, and I appreciated Roger. It really is unfortunate. I broke down crying when I found out, and even earlier, and on Mitchie Boy's stream, Chelsea Mitchie Boy's stream, I broke down. It was emotional, but we move, and life goes on, unfortunately. Yeah. Rest in peace, Roger. It was a pleasure meeting him, although not in person. And my condolences to his family. It's unfortunate, but it's just the aspect of life that we all dread and hate, but it happens. So rest in peace. And as I said before, this stream will be dedicated to Roger as well. So now to the reason you would have clicked on this stream. Chelsea suffers a massive and a narrow defeat against their London rivals, Fulham. It's a defeat that is rare in the history of current Chelsea affairs against Fulham. It came late. It wasn't great for Chelsea, but it came late for Fulham, and Fulham fans can leave being happy. But I'm sure many people have expected that would have been the outcome. That Chelsea would concede a goal. I'm sure nobody predicted us to lose, but it looked as if they could have gotten a second goal, and so said, so done. Fulham go home with all 3 points. Chelsea leave Stamford Bridge empty-handed. We will discuss all of this and more after this short intermission. But before I do that, I want to invite you guys once more to ensure that you help the channel grow by liking, by sharing, and by subscribing. I want to thank you all for deciding to join the Chelsea Sessions family, and I hope that you'll enjoy the remainder of the stream. As I said before, this stream will be dedicated specifically to Roger Blue, vivid Chelsea Session supporter, one that always reached out to me about his love for the way that I do the shows, the way that I do the tactical aspect so well in terms of explaining the analytical aspect of football matches or the team. So get comfortable. This stream will be interesting, and I'm hoping that some panelists will join me to give their insights, their perception, their views on the match, the defeat that was so unexpected but we move. But let me stop wasting your time. Let's go to the next stream after this short break. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back, and I'm gonna go straight to foot mob. Not gonna look at the lineup. We can look at lineup obviously after, but I'm gonna go to this immediately. Let me see if I can get this to be bigger for you guys, so you guys can see the screen better. I hope that's better. Thank you for the 3 people that are watching right now. Thank you for liking as well. I appreciate it. Big up to you, Garvin. I hope you're well. Big up, Garvin. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Big up to you, Garvin. Right, so let's go straight into what FootMob has to offer here. So let me go down here. So obviously we see that Palmer scoring the 60th minute in the first half. For us, opening the scoring, we were making opportunities in that first half. The first 15 minutes was rocky. It was back and forth for essentially most of that game. But we got the breakthrough. We broke the deadlock through Cole Palmer, who, he took on that opportunity on his own, and he pounced on it, and he put it straight past Leno. Leno couldn't get to there, and it was 1-0 to Chelsea. Obviously, we know that Wilson and Rodrigo Moniz, if that's what the last name is pronounced. If I butcher the guy's last name, I apologize. But Rodrigo for Fulham got that stoppage time winner for them, and it was celebrations galore as Chelsea suffer the third Premier League defeat of the season. And yeah, we will dissect all of this, as we progress through the stream. But let me go down to the top stats. Let me go down to momentum and everything that you have here. So the top stats is this. So Chelsea, the home team, had 47% possession at the end of the game, 53% for Fulham, who obviously were dominating more of the ball. They had more opportunities than us, as you can see, and the expected goals is obviously higher than ours, as you can also see as well. So the expected goals for Chelsea was 0.82. The XG was 1.32 for Fulham as well. Let me just bring on Dante. Big up to you, Dante. How are you doing? I'm just going through the FootMob top stats and all that. How are you doing, man? Wow.
Yeah, big up Ty. Big up everyone in the chat. Yeah, I'm good. I was about to go to sleep and then they scored and yeah, I'm pissed off now.
Yeah. Right. So
yeah, not happy at all.
yeah. I'm just gonna go through this, the rest of this, and then I can get your insights after that. Right. So total shots: 12 for Chelsea, 14 for Fulham. 3 big chances for both sides. Let me go down to go to stats specifically. Well, I'm so shocked. Right. So shots on target: 8 for us, 7 for them. 3 big chances, as I said before, for both sides. 3 big chances missed for us, which is interesting. That means that we missed all 3 of the big chances that we had, and they missed only 1, which makes sense because they obviously scored 2 goals. So I suppose the big chances, 2 of them are the ones that they ended up scoring. Accurate passes, 84%, 420. They had 60 more than us, and I think this is one of those matches where it's a rarity to see Chelsea being, outnumbered in terms of passes and accuracy of passes, which the accuracy doesn't really make a difference anyways. But I mean, the passes is surprising. Fouls committed, 13 for both teams. Corners, it's 3 for Chelsea and only 1 was there for Fulham. Let me see if I can go down and see what is here. Right, I spoke about expected goals. That's not irrelevant. Right, before I continue, Dante, let me know your thoughts about this result.
Yeah, not a good result, obviously. Look, it was pretty even the game. Probably, I think Fulham probably just edged it, but it was probably pretty even. We had probably the first half. They probably did better in the second half. But yeah, as you saw there, they had more possession, passing possession. For me, that was a big problem. Yeah, that was a very big problem, and that started from the back. Just the basically giving them possession every single time. So we're doing a little. We're basically covering for Sanchez's deficiencies. That's what we're doing. We're not putting him in positions because we saw that today again a couple of times. He nearly gave the ball away. So what we're doing is we're just quick little pass. The teams know, so they're set up for the high press. They're right on the edge of the box, waiting to sprint at Sanchez, and Sanchez has only one thing to do, and that he just puts it long. And we don't have a physical number 9 up front to hold the ball up or win those headers or bring the ball down. So I'm not sure what that tactic is supposed to do. All it did was give Fulham possession over and over and over and over again, and give them credit. I think Silva out coached Maresca today. I think Maresca did not have a very good game tactic wise. Yeah, there's blame to the players as well, but I think tactically, I think Silva did one today over Maresca.
Yeah, big up to you, Garvin. Thank you for joining. What do you have to say about this match? I don't know why I'm laughing, but how are you doing, Garvin?
Yeah, I know why you're laughing, man. You know I'm gonna come straight up on Enzo Fernandez, man. Poor. You go back to the same thing that I'm concerned about from day one when we signed him. Enzo Fernandez cannot play in a double pivot, or he's not physically enough. And today they were using that left side that for Fulham where they were using the American guy Robinson. They were using him with his speed and physicality, and Enzo couldn't keep up. So I see what Maresca is trying to do. He's trying to overload that side to keep him back. But how are you gonna try to overload that side with Enzo Fernandez there, and he don't got the speed first of all, and the physicality of him is poor. Look how many times they brush him off when he's trying to go in for a tackle. Look how easy they brush him off and go straight towards our goal. So I think that's where we won and we lost the game too. In my opinion, that was a big mistake from Mariska.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Solid point. What do you have to say about that, Dante?
I don't completely agree with that. I think Enzo still probably played pretty well most of the game. He did quite a lot of things, but again, it was Maresca putting him into that situation, knowing what the opposition's doing and letting it happen and not making any changes or adjustments. So it was pretty obvious, like Gavin says, what they're doing. But yeah, you need to make a change. You need to move it around. You need to, change it up. Very simple. That's what a coach's job is. And yeah, it's on the player sometimes, but you got to help the players around. And if you're not gonna, and if you don't want to make changes, as in substitutions, well, then you got to change it up tactically, or move that player out to another side, or a bit further back, or a bit more forward. You just let it go. It basically continued the same. So yeah, I know what Gavin's saying, but I don't think Enzo had that bad of a game. He actually did some really good things as well. He was probably one of our better players, to be honest. So it wasn't that bad, but we know what his weakness is, and that is his weakness. But again, Maresca let it happen. It was so obvious, and Maresca let it happen. So I give Enzo a bit of blame there, but I give Maresca a bit of blame there as well. And that goes a lot of more areas in the field. But yeah, because obviously Gavin brought that up. Yeah, just add to that.
Um, I
Yeah,
understand what you're saying, Dante. Hold on, Tag. 1 second, 1 second. I understand what Dante is saying, but it go back around again to so both of them have to get blamed for this one, right? That's why we need to bring back either Santos from loan because if Lavia continue to have this injury problem, Enzo Fernandez cannot fill that void because we are gonna end up being in the same situation like last season. This game remind me of last season with our ex. You know, this is some of the tactics that our ex would be using, because Enzo was struggling, but we still don't have anyone to come off the bench to go in that midfield and help out Caicedo. Or unless we were going to move Caicedo at right back and put him and Gusto inside to keep up with Robinson, which is still, I don't think it still would have worked. So this was a situation where I think the coach and the tie a little bit, because if you look on the bench, who we're up on the bench that we can bring in to either strengthen the midfield or even in the defensive line. Like it was a case today where I don't know, man. I'm just so frustrated.
Yeah, sorry. Before I continue, because I want to say something about what you just said as well, Garvin, and what Dante. All right. Charles said he wanted to join. And he's a new member as well. So this is a sticky one because I don't usually put the link in the chat for safety reasons. But if you want to join,
Be careful, Ty.
yeah. Do you use Instagram then? All right. Let me know if you use Instagram. You can contact me there if you want to join. I'll allow you to come on. To
You
give
can
your
put it there and delete it, Ty. You can delete it after you come on.
yeah, but the thing is, there's 8 people watching. I mean, anybody can click on the link and then. Oh wow! Big up to you. Vivid moments with Tasha. Appreciate the donation. You said big up everyone. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
This is
Joshua.
kind of this is bittersweet because uh Liverpool and all of that. But I appreciate the donation. Thank you for that. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and I'm gonna hope that my biggest fears don't come back to fruition. But that's the link if you want to join, Charles. Not if, since you want to join. But yeah, to touch on what you just said, Garvan. In my preview, I made mention of this. I said one of the biggest issues that is going to present itself with the fact that Lavia would not be available for this match is that it would limit the amount of midfield options that we have that would realistically start. Tasha is saying one pool, but yeah, I mean that was one of my biggest issues and concerns because I'm saying okay, Lavia's not back, and if you remember Dante on that same exact stream. Listen, I don't know, I'm on a roll. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm on a roll. I said that I need to see more of Enzo when there's a case where pressure is being applied. And I agree with you, Dante. He didn't have a horrible game. He created a lot of opportunities. But that responsibility that he's not good at, Garvan will speak about it. Garvan spoke about it in his previous video or stream that he did about Enzo earlier in the week, where, the way that Enzo plays, or rather, let me reword that. The way that Enzo plays in terms of with Argentina, it's a 3-man midfield. At Chelsea, it's a 2-man midfield or a double six that interchanges, and sometimes it's Casado as that sole six or all, and he goes up offensively. Or if Lavia plays, it's a double six, and then Enzo has that freedom. But that's the point. You need a 3-man midfield to get the best out of Enzo offensively. And I think that his game was limited because of the fact that he had to also ensure that he didn't go too far ahead without adding that support to Casado. So yes, I agree with you, Dante. He didn't have the worst game because he created opportunities, but at the same time, he was not the Enzo that we saw against Leicester City, against Spurs, among other matches, because he did not have that additional support of Alavia being there. So I think that that is one of the biggest
Yes and no.
problems.
Yes and no. We've seen in this run that's not a problem. We've done fine without Lavia. We've seen it's not a problem. The problem is possession today. That is the problem. If Enzo had another 20% possession like we normally have, and we control the game, it's completely different. Okay, he didn't have the possession. He didn't have the ball enough. We were just giving them the ball away, like basically for free. We'll kick it long because we're covering for Sanchez's weaknesses, which is his obviously with his feet passing out. So we've decided to kick long every time, but we don't have a striker there that can hold the ball up. So Fulham just got the ball every single time. They're like, oh wow, this is nice. This is really good. Now we can actually attack a little bit as well. We can put a bit of pressure on attackers. And that's exactly what they did, especially because they were 1-0 down as well. That's exactly what they did. And for me, that was the bigger problem, not Enzo. Enzo was not, that was a very little problem for me, Enzo. The bigger problem was the way we played, the way we gave the ball away, the possession, and a few other things. But for me, Enzo's a very little problem compared to what other stuff was happening during the game.
Right, sorry, Charles, I see that you're here, but it says you need to connect your mic or your cam before I can add you to the stream. So I don't know if it's a case where you're just trying to use your mic and not the camera, but it's saying that you need to connect. So I don't know if you have to go back in and come back or give permission to do that. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those matches, and I think this is probably one of the first instances where I cannot completely agree with you, Dante, and that is, I agree with you in terms of the possession, but I do believe that the reason why we did not have more possession as well is the fact that we did not have Lavia. I'm not saying we should depend on Lavia, but we know that with Lavia, he's also
too defensive. He would sit back with Caicedo, and that's way too defensive. We're not going to create any chances then. As we've seen, we don't create chances with Lavia playing because Caicedo plays back there as well, and Lavia does not go past halfway line. You're not creating anything going forward.
And that is why, and what I was going to say is that it's defensive, and that's why you need an Enzo in it. And that is what I'm saying.
He can do that job very well alone, and we've seen it for like 10 games. He's done it alone, and he's done it no problem because we're on the front foot. We had possession. We played out from the back how we're supposed to play. But for some reason now, it's changed. We are just kicking the ball long. I don't know why. I don't understand that tactic at all.
And I think I could respond, and that's why I'm saying that. Although you may argue that with Lavia playing is more defensive, which is true. You have, obviously, if you have two midfielders who are good at winning back the ball and all of that, you're gonna automatically be defensive. But I think that is something that we were lacking, because we were not utilizing that midfield as much as we could have. We kept trying to go wide most of that game, and that is one of the biggest issues. And to me, I'm gonna speculate because that's all I can do now. I don't think personally that Enzo Maresca trusts the midfield when it's just Enzo and Caicedo. He may trust it in terms of winning back the ball and all of that, but I don't think in terms of using that as an avenue, he trusts it to work the way that Lavia, Enzo, and Caicedo does. And that is why I'm saying that, yes, I agree with you, the possession is the biggest issue, because obviously we saw that they had more passes. And I'm saying that, and as you said rightfully, it was a case where we were trying to get over the top. It was always trying to play the ball over the top to Jackson or get the ball into Neto or over the top to Sancho. That is the issue, because we don't have any avenue where we can trust the midfield enough. So we have to constantly go wide. And yes, we usually use the wide flanks to.
That's not about trusting the midfield, Ty. That's not trusting the midfield. That's about trusting the goalkeeper.
Well, I mean, it could be both. As I said, we're going to disagree, and I mean that's fine. It's fine that we're disagreeing.
But Ty,
you're going to say something, Garvon? Yeah.
The next thing again too, why I'm saying Enzo I'm still gonna say I don't think Enzo fit the Premier League. If that was Lavia today in our midfield, you pass the ball to Lavia. Lavia can break the press easily. He's the best. We got to break the press, so we would have more control of the ball in the midfield if we did have the likes of Lavia, because a lot of the passes, if you notice, we have to go long. With Enzo there and the quickness of those Fulham midfield, you can't pass the ball. You can't try to play off from the back. If they nip it from an Enzo cannot have the agility to catch back those players. It's straight to our goal. If you notice, the first chance they get, when Enzo trying to nip the ball, and he was so slow, the guy just barely move, and he goes straight around Enzo, straight to the middle of our pitch, get a shot off goal. So you have to look on the difference too. If it was a Lavia.
You did see Enzo do very good tackles and track back and tackle and win the ball 2 or 3 times as well. So he does that work as well. He can do that. That can happen. But yeah, of course, he got beaten a couple of times. But that's going to happen. That's just normal in the game. It's going to happen. It's just, this is where the manager needs to step in, like I said. and change it up. Very simple. And I think he failed to do that today.
Mm. Right. I'm not sure if you want to say something, Garvin, but I just want to inform Charles again. The problem is still persisting in terms of saying that you need to connect either your mic or cams. That's, I'm still not able to add you. It's not allowing me to. But yeah, I mean, I just want to add something to what you guys just said, and I mean, Garvin is slightly leading towards why I said that Alavia would have been influential in terms of one aspect. As I said before, Dante, I'm agreeing with you in terms of it being more defensive. However, the biggest problem is that because, and as you just said, we have to compensate for the shakiness that you have with Sanchez in goal because he's not good with the ball at his feet. But with Lavia, because of the fact that he does not go forward as much, he also drops deep to support. And if he drops deep, he can claim the ball because we saw that big gap, especially for that mistake that Sanchez made. And he luckily got past, I don't remember which Fulham player it was. And luckily he was trying to pass the ball to Toast, I think it was. If you have a Lavia there who can actually help to add to that number in the centre back area or the defensive area, rather, you'd have that more of a freedom there, and that's something that we lacked because we don't have
Oh, we
that player.
actually,
Let's say this,
if you look at it, we beat the press many times. We beat that press many times. We still got through them, no problem. But Lavia is not going to help either. If you're going to kicking the ball from the back, from the goalkeeper, what's Lavia going to do in build up if we're doing that to Fulham?
No,
What's
because
Lavia going to do?
can
He can't do
he
nothing
has
about that.
But Dante, I think you're discrediting the fact that Lavia has the ability to get he's able to avoid that press as well. He has the capabilities to
he is.
get
He's
in
one of the
between two
best at
players.
that.
Right.
So far, what we've seen from the limited time he's played, he's very good at that. But we don't know. We haven't seen a run. We haven't seen consistent. How many games have we seen in a row of Lavia play? 2. So I'm not. I can't say too much more about that from 2 games in a row. I can't say 2 or 3 games, I think max. So I can't really. And those are against really good opposition that play in a completely different way. So have we seen Lavia play against a mid to low sort of table team? No, we haven't, because he doesn't play in these games. He wouldn't even start in these games. Lavia will not start in these games. Maresca wants to be on the front foot, one DM Caicedo to do that sweeping, exactly what happened today, and Enzo would be pushing forward. And we did that very well in the first half. We were quite all over Fulham for most of that first half. Probably had the better chances, created quite a few chances. Again, we didn't take them. Palmer took one chance, but that was it. And I think our attack lacked quite a bit today as well. That, like I said, there's so many areas today that was not. You guys are just coming at Enzo. All of a sudden, it's
Wait.
Enzo's fault.
No, Dante. No.
He's
I
had
don't
probably
want
like
it.
how many games in
No,
a row?
no,
He's probably
I don't
been
want you to
our best player
misinform.
for how many games in a row? Or top 2
No,
players for like
I don't
8
want you
games
to
in a row, whatever it is, 6 games in a row.
misinform the audience. I'm not attacking Enzo. I'm not saying that. No. If you're gonna say somebody is going at Enzo, which I don't think he is, it's better you say Garvin because Garvin is the one that was more vocal about Enzo. All I'm saying is
Well,
that I think
Garvin as well. That's what I'm
lacked.
saying. It's coming
Right.
at Enzo like he was the big
Right.
problem
No,
today. I
but
don't see that.
as I said though, and we both, and that's what I'm saying. I agree with you, Dante. The situation is that we weren't owning up the match in terms of possession, and usually when we dominate possession, it's easier because if you have the ball more, obviously you cannot. You're not susceptible to the attacks that
The
Fulham had, but
attacks,
the
you're
game
gonna
was
have
back
more
and forth.
chances because we create a lot more chances. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly right.
Right.
But
So
even the
that's it.
forwards
Yeah.
were pretty poor most of the game today, to be honest.
Can I defend myself? I'm not going at Enzo.
Go ahead,
Okay,
man. Go ahead.
I know
I'm
you're
not.
going at Enzo, Gavin. I know you've been waiting for one bad performance, but it's taken a lot of games for this to happen. But
No,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh
You have a
no,
my
right.
God.
Dante.
Oh my
I've
God.
been around football for so many years, and I see what I see. Like I can name out like 10 players who got a World Cup form, and when they make that big money move, like their career just go down the hill. So I'm not really saying I'm going at Enzo. I just think that Enzo still, I've still my jury is still out on there. I don't think he fit the Premier League. Whether we want to like it or not. I know that he's at Chelsea, but we're not gonna get this week in, week out or 2 season consistent good performance from Enzo. We're
You've
not.
had how many games in a row now consistently best on the field to bet top 3 on the field? How many games in a row?
Since he at Chelsea, I probably only can point out like 6 games. Since he's at Chelsea for 2 years, and that's what my
No, don't worry
my
about last
concern.
season. I'm talking about this season now. The last 6 games he's played, 7 games, whatever it is, he's been one of our best players on the field, and we've won pretty much all those games.
I understand that, and I give him his praise from then. But what I'm saying is, for a consistent performance for a whole entire season, I don't think we're gonna get that from Enzo. That's why I'm saying that when a likes of a Lavia is down, injury or
Yeah,
are
you're not going to get that from
suspended.
any player. You're right. No player's going to do that. It's very rare that happens. To get every single game, it's not going to happen.
No,
Yeah.
when I said performance, I don't mean like you have to have a full enough performance. I still just doesn't think that he matched the Premier League. And once team
I know.
find out, what Maresca did, Maresca twist the system to fit him, and it works for couple game. But this is the Premier League. The Premier League is a league that's unforgettable. Once a team find out your structure, which they're going to, you're going they're going to find the gaps and they're going to find the weakness. And I don't think Enzo is capable of. He's for me, he's similar to Jorginho. When we we sell Jorginho, we take another Jorginho with probably just a little tiny upgrade on Jorginho. That's just my take on Enzo.
Garvan, I could have agreed with everything you just said, except for that last bit. Oh my, Jorginho. Oh no, listen. I love Jorginho, but that's a bit harsh. That's harsh.
Even though Jorginho was a very good player and he had a role to play, and he won. He won where he played. He actually won with us as well.
He's completely different from Enzo. Jorginho was more of the guy that sets the tempo.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. Bobby has been backstage for a while, and I want to get his insight, because this is a very interesting conversation. Big up, Bobby.
Yeah, big up, guys.
Bobby?
One mention. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, Bobby.
Yeah, big up. I was going to say one mention always. I wanted us to win for him today, but it didn't happen. Roger, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Fantastic guy. Very, 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 very much a part of the Chelsea community and will be really, really missed. Right, today.
100%.
I know there's always these inquests, and whenever we lose a game, people start pointing fingers and things, and rightly so. But I've got to say that we didn't deserve to lose today. We shouldn't have lost. I think Fulham were quite fortunate to win. It was a smash and grab, really. If we had finished, I just think attacking wise, we were very powder puff. A couple of very weak shots from Jackson. Maybe he shouldn't have started. I did say earlier on a stream that maybe we should start Nkunku in this game. Another thing that's hit us is that our best players have chronic injuries. When you're in the thick end of the season, you need to be fielding your best team with your best players. This is why Liverpool are on this run. It is why Arsenal are in somewhat of a resurgence. Okay, you might say they don't have Saka, but Jesus has always been an excellent player. That is squad depth, and nobody screams and shouts when he's on the bench for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's only at Chelsea we start talking of Barcelona, who's loaded with players in that position, wanting Nkunku, which is just ridiculous. He's only going to sit on the bench there, but I digress. Look, today was a day that to me just showed us where we are. Not being able to close out a 1-0, not being able to finish chances, which is the same problems we've had. And the questions arise of quality. Do we actually have enough? Certainly in the striking position. Yeah, Jackson developing excellently, really doing well, very mobile, wins the ball, presses well, but strikers are about finishing. And he's got to do better. I don't think Cole Palmer played well today. Excellent goal, but he loses the ball too much.
Yeah,
He
but
was
again,
very
scored the goal, but didn't do nothing pretty much the rest of the game.
nothing. Yeah, very weak. Easily pushed off the ball. It just wasn't a good day. Now, they've had a week to prepare for this, so I wouldn't want to start calling out rest, but they looked almost leggy today. Look, it is what it is. We are where we are. We know that we're in the top four battle. It seems to be our level right now. And, we've got to do everything we can to make sure we stay in that top four and we qualify. Um, I don't know. I can't blame Sanchez. I think Sanchez has improved a lot. This is the third game in a row he's impressed me. And on a better day, he would have probably been someone that helped us win the game because he gave us some crucial saves again. The second goal, smash and grab. First goal, just sloppy. We can't be pleased with our performance for sure. But this is who we are, this is where we are, and this is the improvement that we're working on. It's just that simple. I'm not, I don't feel bad about this, funnily enough, and I'm somebody that hates losing. I hate drawing, and particularly today where I wanted them to win for Roger. I really wanted that win that we can all talk of it as a tribute to Roger. But, it is what it is. We go back to the drawing board. And this time, Mr. Maresca has to be confident in benching Palmer or getting him off the bench. You have to do it because, yes, his goal was excellent, but he's ineffective at the moment. Sancho, I felt worked hard, tracked back. I don't want to criticize him too much, but tactically, if you were going to insist on having Palmer on the pitch, that was the time to take off Sancho and bring on João Felix. Um, I don't know. I think the manager got it a bit wrong with what he had. Injuries hasn't helped us. Our development is showing. And so we roll on. Thank God the turnaround to Ipswich is short. What is it? On the 28th, we play them. So what's that? 2 days' time.
But
We've got to get a result. Simple as that, guys.
it's the 30th. It's the 30th. We played them on the 30th.
30th.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what, 4 days.
yeah, because they're
Uh,
playing Arsenal tomorrow. That's why.
all right. Okay. Well, whatever. It's still a fairly short turnaround. Less time to think about this or get upset, and more time to focus on getting a win. And we've got to be careful. I don't think Fulham aren't particularly low block. They're not anything really. They're a good side, well organized. But we should have beaten them here today. There's no excuse for not beating them today. And we will meet another well organized team in Ipswich as well. And we've got to beat them on their ground. It's the Premier League, and this is what the top teams do: win when people throw all sorts of different problems in front of you. Unfortunately, today we only have ourselves to blame.
Ah, um, this is, I don't know. This is very funny because I tweeted something on X earlier, a couple hours ago, and because people were asking how you'd rate Enzo Maresca's time at Chelsea so far, and I said I would give it a 6.5 because of silly decisions, and then I would say that there's some silly decisions in this match as well, and I got attacked for it. But it's life. I've learned that everybody's not going to agree with you, and that's fine. That's what makes football so inclusive. You have everybody that gives their thoughts, and with the way that this team has gone so far, I haven't agreed with Dante. Dante hasn't agreed with Garvan. Bobby hasn't agreed. He's come with a different approach, and that's why football is what it is. But there's two things that this match confirms to me. I made a statement after the Everton match, and obviously we all can admit. I hope Bobby won't say easy tiger again when I say this, but Chelsea are not in the title race, and matches like this shows it. The second thing is that, and it goes back to what I was saying before, the midfield was not completely at fault, but if you had more options, you could have made more flexibility being shown there. Obviously, Bobby
Exactly.
mentioned the whole fact of having Felix come on. That is something that definitely would have been an option that we should have considered, especially considering that Enzo had to be dropping deep because if you notice, Fulham were targeting Gusto's side because they realized after that first half that he was struggling defensively. Robinson was having a field day on that side with him. And if you have Lavia, for example, that was the point I was trying to make. If you have Lavia, Casado could come on the right hand side even further. But because of the fact that Enzo was being so offensive, he could not leave that gap in the middle open. And Casado tried, but he couldn't do it on his own. And that is why I'm saying that if you want to get the best out of Enzo, you need to have a three-man midfield. We only have options that are going to make us defensive. That is just the way that we've got. That's the squad that we have, unfortunately. But that's the way that you get the best out of him. Having some two defensively solid midfielders to do the work. Because I have said this before, and I even said it after the Brentford match and even the Everton match. I said you cannot depend on Casado to do all the dirty work. He's one player. One player should not be taking on 4 or 5 players. That's impossible. He's not God. He's not going to do the impossible. So clearly that was going to happen eventually. And as I said in that tweet as well, Maresca has proven that if he makes a mistake, he's quick to admit it and try to ensure that it doesn't repeat itself. I'm hoping that will be the case after this match, but it's a reality check. It's a reality check for fans, and it's a reality check for the players and the manager, because I think it's silly to believe that Casado would do the dirty work and Enzo could have that freedom constantly every game. And Dante, you made a mention about low blocks and all that and what Lavia has done. That's the ironic thing. We have not also seen Enzo consistently play against low blocks without having that support of Lavia as well. So I can flip it to say that we see against Leicester City, he was able to get that opportunity. Spurs, they were attacking, they were playing a high line. He had a good game. We did not see what he could do in the low block. And that's why I said in that preview that the verdict is still out on Enzo's capabilities when there's not a supportive midfielder other than Casado, because I need to see what he does in situations where the team is offering a different situation. I don't know. I just had this weird feeling that something about this match is something we should not look beyond. And as I said in that preview as well, Lavia not being available, it's going to be concerned because it limits the amount of midfield options that realistically are going to come off the bench or can start the match. So it
I
was
want
a
to
big
add
concern
something
for
to
me.
this.
So yeah,
So,
go on.
just on a Lavia, really, that injury is a problem to us. You're 100% right. His injury rate at the moment is unhelpful.
Yeah.
And it weakens our midfield. I personally don't think Enzo did that much wrong today. I think it was a tactical error from Maresca. I think he could have either, well, they were flying down the wings, so he was cautious to invert Cucurella. He may have maybe played a Casaday. Very brave decision, but he could have done that later on. Or as we keep saying, brought on Felix as well. No, I don't think he got it right today, Maresca. I really do. And quite clearly, the result shows. You don't throw away a 1-0 lead and lose 2-1 at home to Fulham. Um, but, there are lots of things that we have to learn from today. And we really need to take a very, very serious look at our chronic injuries and decide what we want to do about it. Do we bring back Ugochukwu? Do we bring back Santos, do we, we can't keep relying on these players that break down and leave us, up the creek without a paddle.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Here's what Garvin, your mic is unmuted. Do you want to add anything to what Bobby said or Dante?
Yes, the last part that Bobby said were to bring back Santos. I think that would be the best option for us in the January window. I know a lot of people are gonna say that should have let him stay out there and get more match for this season. But for right now, for where we are in the table, we need him. And we need him to settle in at least because next season we're gonna need him full time, especially if we make the Champions League. So I would say right now, I will take the rest and bring him back to the club.
Yeah, not this season for me. No. If he comes, do you see him playing over Caicedo, Fernandez, Lavia? No,
No, I
because these
understand.
players are only playing one game a week because, as we know, conference and the other cups, it's going to be a completely different team. So they'll be pretty good to go. I don't see Santos starting over any of those players, to be honest.
Yeah, but if you check the injury that we keep on having, especially with Lavia, there's space for him. There's game time for him.
He's back. He'll be next game. He's available. So he pretty much was very nearly made it for this one. So he'll be back already. So I'm just saying he's not
Available
going to
for how
play.
long though, Dante?
For how? Yeah,
He
that's for
comes
how
and
long?
goes.
He
Yeah,
said
we're
he's been
saying
cleared.
he'll
He's
be
been cleared.
back.
He was pretty much almost going to play this game. He's been cleared. He's pretty much been training.
Yeah,
He's going to play next game,
he's been
100%.
he's been cleared before. He's missed 3 games, and every little he can't play 90 minutes as it is.
Yeah,
We're
Bobby, but
wrapping
we've
him
seen
up
him
in
train. He's
cotton wool.
trained. He's actually looked good. He's okay. He's almost there. Just they wanted to be a bit cautious, obviously. But do you see Santos starting over any of those guys in the Premier League?
Well, I see a situation where if we have an exhausted Caicedo and Enzo and an absent Lavia, I think he will start. Yeah, absolutely, because we don't even have a choice. We've got no depth in midfield to cope with the problems that we have in terms of personnel.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see him starting. So you're just wasting. He's the captain at Strasbourg. Let him play. Let him finish the season. You're taking him away, and he's going to have minimal play, and he's just going to play against Wickham in the FA Cup, and when the Conference League restarts again against other crappy teams till we get to the semi-final or final. So it's not going to really benefit him, to be honest. In my opinion, I don't think it will benefit him. Let him finish there. Let him be one of the best players. Let him get more leadership experience because he's the captain. Like us, he's been acting captain. He's not going to be acting captain here, so let him do that. Let him experience that, and let him finish the season there. He's a young kid. He's younger than all of these guys. He's not going to play ahead of any of these guys. I can tell you now. Maresca will not play him ahead of any of these guys.
That's
Yeah, but
interesting.
the minutes that Jules Bial and Caceres has been getting, that's minute for him for help him to bet into the team for next season. Because if next season you want to go challenge for the league, you need Santos to be around this player and build a bond. If you say you want to challenge next season for the league, because next season with the Champions League, we're gonna have to have all of these players,
Yes,
fit and ready and bed in
next
and
season,
settle
100%. I agree. Next season, but that's what preseason's for as well.
Yeah, but sometimes preseason it take a while for players really to get running. So I would bring him in. That's just my opinion. I would bring him in right now to help the team for at least come into next season.
Look, I wouldn't mind. I'm okay with it, but I don't see it happening, and I don't see Maresca playing him, and that would be a waste, in my opinion. Especially that he's now captaining Strasbourg at such a young age. Let him get that quality game time. Be the main guy there, one of the best players in France. Let him get that experience of being a young captain and playing the way he is. Because I think we'll just be wasting bringing him back because there's just not enough games. If those guys are all fit, if we have an injury problem, a couple of them go out from serious injuries, then maybe you bring him back. But otherwise, I don't see any reason to bring him back otherwise.
Well,
you can bring Ukuchukwu, a defensive midfielder from Southampton, tomorrow if you want. So
that this is the interesting thing about the stream so far. A lot of the conversations that we had after the whole preview exercise and all that was about if Santos should be recalled from his loan. There's some reports about this young midfielder. I think is on loan for next season. That is. So that Santos can come back and then you have a replacement for him at Strasbourg. But I mean, I'm leaning towards what Dante is saying slightly because of the fact of you don't want to bring him back and then um, Lavia is available. I have to admit that I've been seeing recently that he needs to plan for worst case scenario, and it's become a case, unfortunately, with Lavia that he has chronic injuries that you need to prepare for worst case scenario. That's what any team that wants to compete for the Premier League eventually does. You need to have players that if you have any injury to a player that's proven to be important in matches, that you don't lose that quality or you lose the numbers game. And that's what has been happening. So in comparison to what I said on Tuesday to no, I'm leaning towards actually bringing back Santos. I get the point you're making, Dante, and um Tuesday I said the exact same thing that you said. You don't wanna bring him back and then he doesn't get game time. When he's getting the game time at Strasbourg, it defeats the purpose of him developing. And I would love for him to get a full season under his belt because he didn't get that when he was out on loan at Nottingham Forest last season. And we had to recall him and then it
Exactly.
worked out.
He's playing
So
90 minutes every game at Strasbourg. He will not
exactly.
do that
So
here. So that way he'll get stronger, fitter, and we know if he can do that. And he's been doing it so far, so that's good. But yeah, then you bring him back, you stop that development. You stunt it basically. He's gonna play. He's hardly gonna start. And if he comes on, he'll come on the last 10 minutes. The way Mariska's making subs, he'll come on for the last 10, 15 minutes. But that's not gonna do nothing. So
well, goes back to what I said. Okay, let me see. I need to before I go on. Let me go back to the chat because there's been a lot of messages I haven't responded to verbally. Big up to Makinium who was saying big up Ty, big up the panel. So big up to you. Jerry Z was here, said hello Blues. I'm fully in agreement with Garver regarding Enzo Fernandez. Why am I not surprised? I'm not surprised at all. Emilia Kumi, hope I didn't butcher that name. Only time I decided to watch the match. Oh, okay. Only time I decided to watch the match talked about Chelsea team. I see the players playing like okay, they had on the pitch until they were behind. Mm. Welcome to the stream, Emilia. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here or commenting. So thank you for that. Rich Money Makers, big up to you. It says big up the legends on the panel. We missed loads of chances today. We encouraged Fulham today. Our second half, we didn't press them, and Neto was at fault for the first goal. We didn't have the right attitude. Do you agree? Do you agree that Neto was at fault for the first goal? Garbon, Dante, Bobby.
I do. I think he has some responsibility. He was beaten, and then I don't know what happened, whether he got a slap in the face or whatever, and he went down and stayed down holding his face. Now, if he did, I didn't see it. They replayed it and replayed it. I didn't really see it as anything that would warrant that. He was beaten, and once he was beaten, the cross came in, uh, which was then crossed again. Look, that goal was just sloppy, very sloppy. Shouldn't the play or the crossing of the ball shouldn't have happened in the first place. It really shouldn't. I don't know. Today just showed me Maresca didn't quite get it right. Our forwards were weak. Their finishing was dreadful, really. And chronic injuries are really a problem to us. And going back yet again to Enzo, people are saying, well, Enzo's no good and so on and so forth. But honestly, looking at what we've got, we have no alternatives. We have no alternatives. Our midfield is dangerously thin. without Noni, all of a sudden our wingers look a bit thin. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just a bad day at the office for us today.
Uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm just laughing at the fact that
Oh.
I made a statement. I don't know what's going on. I'm making so much statements, and I don't know if it's my fault. Probably it's my fault. You can probably blame me if this persists. But I kept saying that I'm concerned about the numbers we have in the attacking area, because
Yeah.
yeah, we say we have Felix, and yes, we have Sancho, we have Palmer, we have Nkunku, but the fact of the matter is Maresca is not starting them or bringing them on early enough for them to make an impact if they can. Taking off Jackson the 73rd minute or 72nd minute, and then expecting Nkunku to just hit the ground running in that match, when you've seen when you play him in the conference league that he needs minutes to get into the match if he's going to get into the match. So I don't think, and even play him as a striker, I don't think it's a feasible option as well. So I'm concerned about the attacking options, and that is why I'm saying that the whole situation surrounding the Ukrainian winger Mudryk, although he wasn't playing in the Premier
Another
League
player we're
as
missing.
much, right? As much as he wasn't playing in the Premier League, it still helped to have another option on the bench. And when he did make his little cameos off the bench, he did try to do something, and he made some crosses, created a few opportunities. So no one knows what could have happened, and we needed something different. Sancho was trying his best, but he did not have the greatest time on that left hand side. I thought Kukurea coming back would have alleviated that issue that he had against Everton, but he didn't necessarily do that. And Kukurea was being utilized in a more conservative way rather than the average way that he was. So I mean, there's so much things that went wrong in this match, and as you said, Bob, it's easy, and Dante alluded to it as well. It's easy to blame one player, but it's not one player. It's a team effort, and there was so many things going wrong in that match, and it's not on Enzo, because Enzo actually had somewhat of a better game, but he wasn't at the level that we saw in other matches because, as I said before, the midfield option was thin. With the midfield, impact was thin. And although we didn't use the midfield as much, I'm saying it once more, I do believe that one of the reasons we did not utilize that as a plan B or an alternative option is because of the fact that that midfield on its own is not as resolute as it would be with Lavia, Casado, and Enzo. But I want to go to the chat quickly before I come back to the panel. Big up to you, Chelsea Perspective. Says, big up everyone. Neto wasn't full. Palmer scored, but I still think he needs a break. Yeah, and that goes back to the question that I raised in the preview, which is and I think Dante touched on it as well. Palmer needs to be benched. I didn't get Bobby's thought, but Dante is unmuted, so I'm gonna give him the chance to speak.
No, I agreed. The first thing I said that, he needs to be benched for sure. He didn't have a good game today. Excellent goal, bad game.
Yeah, look, exactly that. Excellent goal. But after that, misplaced passes, positioning wasn't that, sometimes was good, but a lot of the times wasn't good. And really not creating much or doing much or shooting or anything like that. So yeah, I concur with that. He needed to come off. You've got another very talented, technical, creative player that can play in that position, which is João Felix. So you bring him on. If you don't want to take Palmer off, that's fine. You can play Felix next to him, and you can still, you take Sancho off. So there's plenty of options. He still had options. There's plenty of options that you can still change it up and mix things around. But for some reason, he didn't want to do that. Not sure. We'll find out more. Obviously, he'll be asked about it. But big up to Rich and big up to Coach as well. There, I see he's joined. And Nee with the $50. Merry Christmas to you, Nee.
Yeah. Wow. I appreciate this, Nee. This is now officially the biggest donation the channel has gotten so far. It says Merry Christmas to you, Ty. But in all honesty, the such a donation will benefit the channel, not me, because anything that is donated to the channel, it goes back into the channel and to make shows better. So I appreciate it. Blue Clouds Media knee. We go a long way back, and I appreciate this donation. It will go a long way for the channel as well. So thank you for that. But yeah, so Merry Christmas to you as well. And although it's the day itself has gone, but it's not as merry for me anymore because we this as Bobby said, I was really hoping we would get a good results for multiple reasons, and we didn't. But Chelsea's perspective follows up with the previous comment that he had with which says poor performance overall. Nehemiah Foley is here. Big up to you. Says Sancho stinker. Interesting. Um, Jerry C is saying big up final boss Chelsea perspective. And Nehemiah Foley says again, why playing Nkunku as striker when you know he's not a striker? Right. So I want to give Garvin the opportunity because Dante touched on what Bobby said. But Garvin, what do you think about the whole situation with well, I think I know what you think, but for the sake of not thinking I know what you want to say, what do you think about the fact that Palmer wasn't substituted or the fact that Felix did not even get a chance to come off the bench?
Yeah, well, Cole Palmer. What can I say about Cole Palmer? I understand that you know, Cole Palmer is the golden child at this moment. But sometimes you have to protect Cole Palmer from Cole Palmer. The same thing I was saying about Saka. You know, Saka, I blame Arteta for Saka injury. And Maresca is doing almost the same thing with Cole Palmer. It's time for Cole Palmer now to start to either come off the bench, as what Sir Bobby said earlier, or take him off the pitch. Since those two tackle on Cole Palmer, you know the difference in Cole Palmer game. He's been in and out of games. Since those two tackle, one to the knee, and I think one was to the ligament. I don't remember the second one against Ndidi. I don't remember if it was his anchor, but since those two tackle, you can realize that
Was his Achilles.
Yes. Yes. Thank you,
Achilles.
Sir Bobby. Yeah, you can notice like he's been in and out of games. So I think it's time Moresca change it up a bit. Or if you're gonna continue to use Cole Palmer, use 210 then. Use the like of a Christopher Nkuku, with Cole Palmer in the number 10 or Joe Felix. Try something different because it's too much for Cole Palmer. I know that he said in the press conference that it's not a Cole Palmer, just only Cole Palmer, but the way how you've been using him, it seems like we're only dependent on Cole Palmer.
I mean, and I just want to say this. Dante is the right person to follow up because Dante has been saying it, and every stream that I've been on with him, that he's concerned about Pop. Well, I'm just paraphrasing, but because he has said that he sees that sometimes when Palmer is walking, like you can remind what you say, Dante, but you tend to see that you seem like he's limping or something like that. I don't want to quote you wrong, but you've been saying something about the way that he moves.
Yeah, no, just sometimes his leg buckles a little bit, and that's from the knee always. I mean, I've experienced that. Even today, I actually saw him holding his knee. He was holding his knee for a little bit and sort of bending down, holding his knee a little bit. So to me, I think there's a little bit, it's probably just a bit of, pain, a bit of bruising, a bit of pain. You play through that. I did. You play through that. You're not going to say anything because you want to play. And he's that type of guy that's just not going to say it. He's just going to play. But I think it definitely affected him a little bit. Does it affect him every game? Yes, maybe no. It just depends if he flares up a little bit and just, a bit of pain there. But most importantly is when you plant your foot and you see him shoot, his shots have been very poor, very weak. They're just not really good. The goal was great, but still the shot wasn't very strong. It was quite weak. It was just very well placed, and it went between the legs of the defender. So yeah, he called the keeper out. It was a very, very nicely taken. But then 2 or 3 shots after that he took, they were very, very, very slow. So I'm just going by experience and what I know I felt, and I think there's a little problem there. He's just not saying anything. And Maresca is still playing him, and that's fine. You can still play him because he's not really running like crazy, doing crazy kilometers or anything like that. If you look at the Ks for his runs, he's not high. It's probably one of the lowest. So he doesn't run that much. And that's also a little problem because what we've seen from Felix as well, he works much harder. And Palmer did work much harder before that. We've always seen him intercept balls, get in there, run, chase. I haven't really seen that since that injury that much, to be honest. He hasn't been working that hard defensively for me either. So, look, it's obviously Maresca backing his player, trusting him, believing him, and he does have magic. He's going to create a moment like that where he can do it, and we've seen him. But that's all we've seen. One moment like that, and then nothing the rest of the game. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a problem. Bench? No, he's not going to bench him. There's no way he's benching him. But yeah, you can sub him off. I think that's good for the player. He's doesn't get too comfortable either. It protects him a bit from injury as well. So, and you've got ready-made experienced replacements. So, yeah, I'm not sure why he's not doing that, to be honest. So, we'll just have to wait and see how the rest of the season goes. But look, he still got a great goal today, as we saw. He still got that technical ability that he can do that. But is that enough? No, it's not enough. Today wasn't enough either. So, yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes.
Well, Rich Moneymakers is saying that Noni Maduoki's absence from Chelsea's squad versus Fulham was due to a technical decision. Enzo Maresca has confirmed. Well,
Ty,
yeah.
that from last week game, Ty. If you notice when they come on the pitch against Everton, I told you all season long, like this guy have a
100%.
serious attitude problem.
It was 100% that I noticed that as well. He was very poor, not tracking back, walking basically around, didn't give anything going forward. He was very blah. And I think Maresca probably is disciplining him. Because there's no way it's tactical. There's no way that it's tactical today against Fulham that I don't play that low block and they've got two wing backs. No way it's technical. He would be perfect for this game today, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked that he didn't start, because even though you guys would have done the prediction exercise, and you can correct me. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
I had Neto starting, but at least you got him to bring him on for 30 minutes if you need to. Sanchez not doing it. You can move Neto to the left, or you take Neto off, or you had that extra option. So it's definitely not technical. It's definitely him something, a discipline, something like that.
Yeah, I think if you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dante, but I think you and Tobago said. Did you guys have some sort of 11 that would have allowed Felix and Palmer to start in the match?
Yes, we had that. Yes, that's the only difference we had. We had Felix starting as well. Instead of Sancho, we had Felix starting on that left wing, but Cucurella would push up basically that left wing and he would tuck into the 10 next to Palmer so they can the triangles and the passing and the possession.
Oh, right.
And
Because
Enzo just behind them, supporting them as well, just behind them as well. So that's what we had it. Yeah.
Right. Big up to you, Chelsea Michi boy. Thank you for joining. He says, hi guys. Big up to you. Right. It says 10 people are watching, but there's still only 7 likes. So come on, 3 more likes to get it to 10. But yeah, I wanted us to go through the numbers, but let me just bring up what Chelsea Perspective says here. We said maybe we needed this loss. I think we needed the loss. I'm not saying I'm glad we lost, but I think we needed it. And I mean, it goes back to what I said in my tweet. I said that people tend to ignore the little silly decisions that the manager or the head coach makes because you're winning matches. And that's the unfortunate thing about you winning matches. But those little errors can lead to you losing matches in the future, or even lose matches going forward. Because if you don't do that, or see the importance of ironing out those mistakes as quickly as possible before they become a real issue, then you're gonna be suffering, and that's exactly what happened in this match. I saw similarities to what could have happened against Everton, but because they were playing for a draw, they did not look to really hurt us as much. They had opportunities, but Fulham came at us, and as it was said in that preview as well, I think Rich Moneymakers was the one that mentioned it, or I don't remember exactly, but we cannot underestimate Fulham. Fulham are a team not only for the historical or the rivalry reasons, but overall, you cannot underestimate them. Marco Silva has done a relatively okay job with them. I mean, I think they were eighth or something like that in the table, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, the 3 points is vital for the season. No, but it goes back to what I said. We needed this loss, so that fans can actually wake up and get off the honeymoon period of Maresca cannot make a mistake, because I think that is one of the things that people like to brush over to say, oh yeah, he could have done this, but we won the match, so it doesn't matter. And that is what I'm saying. Yes, and I mean I was guilty of being somewhat negative after the Everton draw, but I was leaning towards saying that okay, yeah, the draw is not a bad result necessarily, but at the same time, we need to ensure that these mistakes don't persist. And I'm hoping, as Chelsea perspective would have said, that Maresca looks into this mistake, he learns from the decision that he made in terms of the application, and then obviously we don't see this repeat itself against Ipswich, because as Bobby said, Ipswich are a team that have a lot to play for. They are trying to not get relegated, so it won't be an easy match. And after this result, it's going to become a case, and I don't know. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but everything that I said in that Everton match review, and Bobby was on and Dante was on, it's exactly what I was worried about. Yeah, the low block was there at times from Fulham. They tried to hit us on the counter as well. That's why I said I'm saying Everton drawing with us it's a bad and good thing, because obviously we didn't lose the match, but at the same time it could lead to other teams saying, okay, we can eradicate certain players, we can get at them because they can struggle if you apply too much pressure to them. And obviously it can lead to other teams looking into that. And I'm hoping Ipswich don't try to apply that same tactic, because it could hurt us again. But as I said, if Maresca looks into this scenario, then hopefully it will repeat itself. Let me see what the chat is saying. This is okay. This is somewhat irrelevant, but Jerry's using Tony Khan's Fulham is performing better than his AEW venture. Okay, I didn't know that Tony Khan has shares or has some affiliation to Fulham, but that's interesting. MS is a smart manager and deserves better than Fulham. I mean, that's a solid point. Jersey says yes, sir, and then he says, "Our set piece coach is working on more quickly with headers, and goalkeeper made some very good saves, even from Enzo." Okay, right. So as I said before, I wanted us to look at some a bit more on the numbers that are made available by FootMob. I mean, looking at the player ratings, I think this is the first match in a while that I've seen Casado getting less than a 7 out of 10. Well, Cole Palmer getting the goal helps in terms of the rating, because obviously the goal and obviously some creations that he made. But is there any player in particular that you want to see what the stat says, or you can move on to looking at the other numbers?
Casado one is a surprising one that is that low, because I think he had a very good game. He was probably one of our best players. Him and Enzo, I think, played very well. They did pretty good. But I think Casado, you saw him cleaning up, tackling, challenges, winning the ball back many times. He's doing what he normally does. So I thought he had a really solid game. So I'm not sure why his rating's that low. I didn't see too many passes displaced or nothing too. I don't know why it's that low. So yeah, that one's Caseda's a bit of an interesting one. Why it's that low?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you can look. FootMob offers a lot of insights, but at times the ratings, it's not consistent with what they do. Okay, I guess there's a problem here. I'm seeing two Bobbies. I think probably Bobby is reconnecting, and the second one isn't.
Yep, he dropped out.
Isn't disconnected yet. Let me see. All right. Can you hear us, Bobby? Okay. Bobby, can you hear us?
He's having
There's
difficulties.
two Bobbies again. Okay, I think Bobby's having some technical issues. Right. So but let me, in the meantime, let me look at the remaining comments that I see in the chat. DJ Saf, big up to you. Says big up Ty and panel, compliments of season. Sorry, can't jump on today as we are celebrating. That's no problem. Got it about the result. Was not expecting a loss again. We didn't take our chances. Yeah, I mean that's true. We had chances, we didn't take them. That's obviously an unfortunate aspect. But let me see what the chat is saying as well. Jersey's saying big up to DJ. Chelsea Michi Boy is saying always two Bobbies. Bobby, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, wonderful.
I don't know why I've come up twice. I logged off and had to log back on. Did you have a question for me?
Yeah, man. Right. No, I was just asking if there's any particular player base. Well, then again, you probably won't be able to see because you're on your phone. But the ratings have been low. I was saying that Casado, for example, this is the first match that I can say Casado's rating has been lower than a 7. It says it's a 6.6. And Dante was arguing that well, not arguing, he was stating that Casado's cleaning up, doing the defensive midfielder role and all of that. But the rating is still low. But the ratings have been relatively low for most of the players. Sanchez has a 7.6, Levi Cole has a 7.3, Fernandez 7.0, 8.2 for Palmer, which I was seeing probably the goal helps with that. I don't know what you guys think about that. How you particularly?
I think we overplay, or rather overpraise Palmer. He wasn't at 8 point anything today. If anything, he was more. I think I would have given him a 5. Probably that's just because of his goal. He was that poor in my eyes. And that doesn't take away the fact that he's a brilliant player, but he just had a stinker today. There was no real reason for us to lose this game. I really don't think we should have lost this game. I think we not taking our chances, some very powder puff offensive play, and Fulham did a smash and grab. As organised as they were, I never saw anything that special in them that they would have won this game. We allowed them to do it, and they became emboldened by the fact that we were just not scoring. We were doing silly things, giving the ball away, and they just waited for a chance and they took it. It's that simple. We've got to fix that. We really do have to fix that. And Maresca has to learn now to be a little bit more brave. This constantly playing Palmer just tells me he's looking for a savior on the pitch, whereas sometimes you have to create your own saviors. He had so many things he could have done. He could have played Palmer with João Felix, which would have been the best option because João Felix could easily play on the left, or he could have kept Jackson on and played Palmer with Nkunku. Nkunku doesn't mind playing at the left either. He's not as good as Felix, but he would have been able to take some attention off of Palmer. I think a lot of the failing today was on Maresca.
Anything you want to add to that, Dante?
Yeah, I agree. I'll go back to it again, though. The tactic of kicking out from the back to our striker that is not physical and going to hold the ball up or challenge any of those big guys that Fulham have at the back. He did not win one ball. We just gave him the ball back every single time, and they just got confident. Hence why they had what was the possession again, Ty? I can't remember. They had how much possession did they have? 56 or
51, 57 or
I think
something
more.
like that.
56% they had. I have not seen us
No,
give that much possession
54%
away. Yeah, I have not seen us give that much possession away to any of these opposition like this, especially against a team like this. So to me, that was the major issue. Kicking the ball long, basically to they had a back three. So to their back three with just Jackson there, who's going to win the ball? Well, Jackson did not win one ball. They got possession again, set up again, and then they can get the wing backs pushing up, and that's what happened continuously over and over and over again. That's where we lost the game. We did not deserve to win that game. I think at best the result, maybe a draw, but did not deserve to win that game the way we played today. So in my opinion, look, Fulham even deserved to win it. They had that second half, the way they finished, and the tactics that Silva and the substitutions he made, they're all tactical adjustments. He just figured it out very easily. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. I saw it straight away as well, but I'm not sure why Maresca did not see it. He's normally extremely good at that stuff like that. And it just didn't work at all. No impact, no subs, no impact. Just giving them the ball, they found that easy, and they just gained in confidence. And
big
if you're
up
going to
to
give us the
you.
ball back every time, we're going to go for it then.
More Blue Plus Media says bad.
I think you're breaking up tight. Might have Bobby there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it's Ty. Yeah, he's frozen again. We'll just wait till he comes back. Yeah, look, even coach in the chat, this honestly, I wouldn't mind Guy. Yeah, well, you can actually bring Guy on it if that is the game plan. How that second half was, especially if you're going to kick the ball long because you don't want to play out the back because Sanchez is a liability. Well, then, and you're kicking the ball long. Well, Guy's going to do that job much better, even though he's a young kid, but he's a big guy. And I've seen him do it a couple of games, even though it's Conference League. But at least he can maybe bring that ball down, get ahead on it. But otherwise, we just kept losing the ball, and I haven't seen us give an opponent that much possession, especially a team like Fulham. For me, that was our undoing today. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you saw that, Bobby, but
Yeah, I agree. And Guy's pressing would have caused them problems as well because he's very good at that.
he's
I agree.
pressing. Yeah, he's pressing as
I
well. But
don't
I mean,
know.
right, Finger, he's very good at pressing as well, Jackson's. But playing him those long balls, he did not win one single ball, and it just fell. It just fell to them at their feet. Basically, they got the ball. There was no one else around, and they just started build up play again, and that's where we lost the game for me. It is what it is. Not his best game today, Maresca. I think this probably was his worst game for me, tactically, and the way he didn't respond to anything that Silva did, especially when he brought those subs, made those changes. He was looking for a pause. He realized that we're going to have more possession, and he saw that weakness and he went for it, and it worked. I know you said it's a smash and grab, but that's what it was. But they actually probably deserved it. If you really look at it really closely, they probably deserved it because I think Silva out coached Maresca today.
Yeah, Dante, right? You know what I said on Tuesday. I said that stream would have been the final stream on StreamYard, but when I did my research on what streaming software I could use that would allow me to use the features that StreamYard does for free until obviously the channel.
You can get the one coach uses. It's like $20,000. It's not that expensive.
Oh wow, yeah, definitely not expensive at all. Right. So because of the fact that I wanted to dedicate this. Can you hear me still? Because my screen is lagging
You're
out.
still breaking up, Ty, and you're freezing. Yeah, it's buffering a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately, it's having a bit of technical difficulties. Sorry, everyone.
I was hearing him really well at one point.
Yeah, he just cut out again. Yeah, so he had this problem last show as well. He wants to change the platform because apparently it's the platform. It's not. He's got full internet coverage. Everything's good, strong internet, but he's saying it's the platform. I'm not sure why, but we'll see what happens. He's just dropped out. He'll come back in.
I think Coachella got it right, to be honest. This was a needed loss.
Yeah, I'm not sure about at home losing at needed loss. At home,
Well,
I wouldn't that, but yeah, I know what he means. I know what you mean as well. It can help.
sometimes you can't sort of select, but this was something that I think Maresca needed to slap him around the face a bit. I understand his chronic injuries aren't helpful, but he still had enough to play it differently, and he just decided not to, and that cost him today.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit stubborn today. He just not sure why. That's like I said, that's probably the worst game I've ever seen him coach today. Just not reacting either to what Silva was doing as well, and just letting it happen.
Yeah.
Was it a lesson for the players? Okay, I'm gonna let you guys suffer and do this, and let's see if you can get through this. Well, we won't know.
Oh, he can't
But
take that sort of gamble. That's ridiculous if he
you
does
can't take
that.
that gamble, but I can see him doing that. I can see him just doing that as well because
Well,
he's that type of guy, and it's out of character for him. Like he would have made a change or reacted, and then, like you said, there was players on the bench. You can change it up. There's plenty of things you can do, but I think he just let it sort of play out to see what they have, and it could be. It's happened before. I've seen coaches do that many times, especially the ones that don't think you're in the title race. And so, yeah, look, you never know. It could be it could be an option. He just let it happen, let it go. He didn't think we're going to probably lose, but like you said, they kind of that last minute goal. Yeah, a bit of a smash and grab, but yeah, look, in my personal opinion, I think they just deserve it. If you look at the stats and even the possession, they probably just deserve it, yeah, to win that game, in my opinion, Fulham. So yeah, well done to them.
I can't argue. I think you're right. I really do. It was just a game that is better forgotten, to be honest.
Yeah, look, and it's going to happen, Bobby. It's a long season. We know we have a
Yeah.
young team. It's a long season, especially this Christmas period, Boxing Day, blah blah blah, the holidays. The players are doing all stuff off field as well. Uh, it's a hard period to get through as well, and young players normally don't do that well at this this time of the year, especially if they do like to socialize as well, go out a little bit and do other stuff as well. So there's a lot of distractions, let's just put it that way. So yeah, look, it's not the end of the world. We're still up, we're still very strong, we're still in our goal, what we need, top 4, and we're still sitting in second position for now. So it's not the
Are
end
we
of the world.
second or third?
No, we're still second.
I thought Arsenal won.
Have they played? No, they're not playing yet, have they?
Oh, they've not played yet. Okay.
No, they haven't
Well,
played yet.
look,
No.
it's all very well Maresca saying, no, we're not in the title race. Fine, we get it, but that doesn't mean to say you shouldn't play as if you are. You have to play as if you are. And this was poor stuff today. It was poor stuff from him today, really.
Yeah, and like I said, it's out of character what he's done all season, every single game. And that's for me surprising. It's a surprise, and that's why I just said maybe just let it go a little bit, just to see what the players are doing and how they're reacting, and how they're going to react. For me, that's not impossible. I've seen that at first hand. Coaches do that, so it can happen. And yeah, like I said, you can have we'll see what the reaction is. That's what's important. The reaction after this, what's going to happen from the players, how they're going to react, and we'll see. There's not that big of a turnaround for the next game, so that'll tell us quite a lot. Maresca, how he reacts, and how the players are going to react to this.
Absolutely.
Hi, are you back? Or I'm not sure if he's back or not. Ah, there he is.
But he looks frozen.
It's
Can you
frozen
guys hear
again.
me?
I know.
Yeah, we can hear you.
But you can you hear me though? It's frozen, but can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, so that means there's a delay. Right. If you can still hear me, you understand why I said this is I wanted the preview stream to be the final time that I use StreamYard, because there's nothing wrong with my connection, because I can still do all of this. I tried using other um streaming platforms and it worked perfectly fine. So I know it's not the connection. And as I said, one of the reasons why I decided to use StreamYard again was because I wanted to dedicate the show to Roger. And with any other platform, I would have to have a paid um, membership to that platform so that I can utilize anything. So I want to be able to note down and before the stream starts. I couldn't do that on any other platform, so I needed to. But this is the final nail in the coffin. And I are not friends for many reasons. I almost lost the channel because of StreamYard's, you know, lack of security. So I think it's for the best that I find some way to go forward using a different platform, because it doesn't makes no sense. I should not be being kicked out of my own stream, and then leaving the panelists having to improvise a step up in my absence. That defeats the purpose of it. The channel is for the people, but you still need the host to be there to guide the conversation, and I can't do that with StreamYard, unfortunately. So yes, but um I don't think it's best to stretch the streamer any further. I don't want to do that to you, Dante. You're trying your best. Bobby's trying his best to do it. Um, but before I do that, can you guys still hear me though? By the way, I know that my camera is acting up and it's
Yeah, we can
buffering
hear
and
you
all that. But
well.
can you still hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Okay, so that is that. At least that is good. Let me see if I can go through the right. Perfect. Let me see if I can go through the chat. I hope it doesn't kick me off again. But there's a lot that has happened since, and I don't want to not acknowledge the chats, and especially something that I really appreciate for Michi Boy as well. So I am gonna see if I can find where I'm at. Where is it? All right. So Joe's perspective said it was a deserving win for Fulham, in his opinion. He said Fulham done a back five for the first time, and our attitude wasn't right. And then Jerry is saying that we can't blame Maresca. He's already overachieved massively in the first half of the season. We're being too critical. That's very interesting coming from Jerry. But I guess, yes, but this is what I wanted to bring up, especially. Chelsea Michi Boy with well, essentially, I'll call it a £10 donation. He says, thanks today for your support, meant a lot to me. Rest in peace, Roger. Yes, it was a pleasure being on, and as I said, and as I said, this stream is dedicated to Roger, because he was a benchmark in the Chelsea community, especially the small community that we have. Chelsea Perspective, the Michi Boy channel as well. Um, it's a big loss, because I had a conversation with him about this channel, and even when I lost motivation to keep doing videos or doing streams, he kept saying that I can't do his voice, but he said, "Come on, young man, sir, you need to do the shows, because I wake up every day hoping that you do more analysis videos or you do streams, because you have great streams. You you're like a gosh, man.
Yeah,
Gosh, man.
it's tough.
But yeah,
It's really
and for
tough.
one, yeah, exactly. And coach says it exactly what I was about to say too. He said you're a fetus. You're a fetus. And you speak as if you're a big veteran. Chelsea supporters. So it's a massive loss. And I really wasn't expecting that on Christmas Day to hear that's the case, because it was really shocking. And you know, for the sake of respecting his family and all that, I'm not going to disclose some information because a positive light in a situation where for the past 2 seasons we were having to endure a lot of negatives. I'm very shocked by what Victor is saying though, because Victor is saying Garvan Garvan is saying rest in peace, Roger. Yeah, rest in peace. Chelsea Perspective also said rest in peace.
Yeah, that's another person I was thinking of. Michi Boy was distraught, as all of us, but Michi spent a lot of time talking with Roger, as did Coachella. Coachella is going to be really upset, very upset.
Yeah, speak up the
But
devil. He's here.
oh, okay, let me let him speak his mind.
Um, I mean, it's painful, and I'm not sure how to explain it. That's because the plan was to. We had issues. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We had issues, and we're humans. Nobody is perfect. And the plan was okay. Uh, 1st of January 2025, we'd bring everybody together and start afresh like we usually do every year. Um, I remember how Roger approached me. And he will always call you sir, irrespective of whether you're 12, 20, 21, 7. He's very respectful. I'm not, he, how he approached me saying he wants to be part of it. He promised he will be there every day for the shows that he loves the approach. I'm, I'm going to lose my mind if I try to speak about it. I mean, I'm pained. I am seriously pained, the more so because I didn't get to speak with him again. And I have to live with it. I have to just live with it and to see it. Maybe, I'm not sure. There's always something to learn from every situation. And I hope I've learned something from this. Maybe move on quickly than usual. But I'm not going to sit here and just, you say, start regretting everything. I just want to find a way to celebrate Roger. He's a very articulate individual, almost always trying to get people to see things from different perspectives and then come to a sensible conclusion. That's his thing. And if you push him too much, he'll tell you, look, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. um it broke my heart. And my wife, the moment I said, "What?" She said, what's the problem?" I told them, "Look, they said Roger, he's no longer with us." And he's heard me talk about Roger, Bobby, Dante, all of you, everything, even my kids know Roger. Just that they haven't met him, especially my 8-year-old. He knows Roger, he knows about Bobby, Dante, Ty, all of them. Um, I just feel like I lost a family member. Yes, I get it. Maybe I would have loved to have spoken with him, but nobody. There's no way I would have been able to see the future, knowing that I won't get a chance to speak with him again. Um, he's a family man. He did speak fondly about his daughter or daughters. I can't quite remember whether he has two. He had two daughters or one, but often talks about them. Um, he's a kind-hearted person, and I just want to find a way to celebrate him, even irrespective of how pained I am right now. The plan is to, as I've told Dante, he reached out quickly asking. I think either I reached out to him or he did reach out to me first, asking whether I've heard anything. And we concluded, yeah, you know what? In January when we come back, we do a live show on his behalf. Maybe I'd have the time to get cuts of him speaking so people can get to understand the sort of how articulate he can be and the sort of person he is. Um, I'm not sure what else to do. It's painful,
I,
really.
I think, one takeaway from all this that we should never forget is that most of us, if not all of us, have never met in person, but we spend hours talking about our passion, which is football and primarily Chelsea Football Club. We are Chelsea fans to the core. We're brothers. We're a band of brothers, and it's a bond that has no explanation. You were talking of how your wife knows certain people that you talk to. My
Even
wife,
though
the
they
same
haven't
thing.
met him.
Yeah, my wife, the same thing. She was consoling me today or yesterday about Roger because she saw how distraught I was and stunned by the whole thing. I think our takeaway from this is to remember that yeah, we're brothers. Brothers fight sometimes. We get into disagreements because we're passionate. Fortunately, on these streams, they're never too hostile, unlike some other streams. But we're not always going to agree on everything. But one thing we do agree on is our love for Chelsea and the camaraderie we all have together. Roger will be missed terribly.
He will
He
be
had his
missed.
own he had his own signature to the panels he was on. His intelligence, his analytical mind, some of his phrases, even some of the banter between Coach and Roger. Coach would call him Potter's lawyer or so and so's lawyer, fetus, Ola. Roger had a sense of humor to everything.
And you
Um,
would think, as articulate as he often is, that he'd be the you could say the type of individual that would be too serious. But Roger, he has a knack for spicing up whatever he says with that is a flavor of comedy. Then at the same time you'll be entertained and not just learn from him or maybe get his point. Um, I mean, Bobby, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sort of trying to help you along because I know you, Coach, and Michi. Of all of us, we were all close to Roger, but you as hosts would be particularly close to Roger, and this would be painful. No matter what, if you'd all fought, there was a few little fallouts here and there, but it's painful. And Roger wasn't the kind of person to let it fester because he loved the community. He loved us as much as we loved him.
Even
And
if
he
let me
wanted
hasten
to,
to highlight something about with regard to what you said, that he doesn't let it fester. Even
yeah,
after the issue, he remained a member, a paid member of the community for months,
yes,
also
yeah.
reflective of the sort of person he is, or he was, so to speak. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I heard from Michi that his family were listening to his tribute stream, and I hope they listen to this and any one of the streams that we speak about him, because I think it will help them to understand that Roger had some brothers online through streams that really cared about him, respected him, because Roger was a man that commanded respect because of his unassuming and humble nature. He will be missed, terribly missed, and he will not be forgotten, not by us anyway.
No, we're not. I mean, the video will forever be online. Posterity will always have it. He loved Chelsea, loved football overall, passionate about it. It wasn't for the money. He he was able to take care of himself. Um, yeah, I mean, I am short of words. I don't know if I will ever get a chance to speak with his daughter that he did talk about a lot every time. Even after the birth of my daughter, I remember the story he told that his favorite thing was to smell the blanket of his daughter as a baby at the time, that he loved it. And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna regret anything. I will find a way to celebrate him. And it's painful, but I didn't expect anything to happen to him. But that's why we're humans. You propose and God disposes. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Bobby.
No, you were talking. You know, can you ever say enough about him? No, but I was just trying to add to the words because I know that for one person to speak, sometimes you need that support from others. It's a shock. We're still shocked. We're still shocked. Yesterday, I was absolutely. I, I have no words to describe how I felt. Sai, the same thing. We were all in tears, weren't we, this morning? Um, it's 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 uh, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the signature um, words that you mentioned, I know Mario Minto, it doesn't often, that is a very busy guy, but whenever I speak with him, he never fails to mention Roger calling kids fetus. Um, it's the world we live in. And when I discussed it with Tobejo, when he was saying that life is too short and something to that effect, and I told him that's the more reason why we should be selfless. You know, do whatever you can to help people whenever you can. Don't make the world just about you. Um, it is painful. I felt the same way I felt when I read Roman's a tribute message. I couldn't even watch the game properly, but it has happened. We can't change it. We cannot question the will of God if you believe in God. We just have to admit. Instead, I will find a way. I don't want to grieve. As pained as I am, I just want to celebrate him. And the truth remains, irrespective of how anybody sees it or how maybe I don't know. He was a huge part. He was a huge part of the growth that Chelsea Perspective experienced every day, and on some occasions, before I think that was before Dante started, maybe at that time, that period maybe, or I can't quite remember. He'd leave the show for him, and he'd willingly take over, ask excellent questions, and yes, Bobby, you explained it very well. Brothers do fight. That it's only natural. It happens. Brothers do fight. But you can argue probably because yeah, we do expect uh, the ones we love to respond to certain situations in certain ways, and when they don't do that, disagreement comes in. It's only natural. I just maybe trying to find a way to console myself, not to regret that I didn't get a chance to speak with them before this happens, but it is what it is. I will keep saying it. We will celebrate him. I will probably cannot help but grieve because yeah, the bond is there, irrespective of how the fact that we haven't spoken for a while. But he proved that he doesn't let such fester, like Bobby mentioned. Was in the chat on occasions, even after that issue, contributing to the conversation, asking for the link to the panel. I'm pained. I'm a human being. I'm not gonna. I'm done.
I think the best way to address this, even for your own grieving and everybody's grieving, is just as Ty has contributed this stream to Roger. Michi, the same. I think it's only befitting that you do the same. And if you can get some of the old words of him speaking on the stream, the things he spoke about, his spreadsheet, um, you
Yeah,
know,
his callings, dribbles, the percent rate,
yes.
rates, and all that. Yeah, he was good at keeping records. But by the time you ask how old is this person, he'd tell you he beat 17, 18, 20, 21 in the next a few days and all that. He was that good with it. Yeah, Bobby, you recall everything very well.
Recall or record?
You recall, you remember everything. The
Yeah, I do. You know, Roger was very. I spent hours on panels with Roger. You know, Michi Boy's marathon panels. We'll be there together. You know, your streams were on panels together. You know, Roger was. I was extremely fond of Roger. Um, you know.
the viewers loved him. The viewers
Oh
loved him.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh
they
yes.
were starting. You could see there was start. They people started asking questions. What has led to his absence and all that, which at the time I had no answer to. I just was waiting. Yeah, January 1st, everybody moves on. But he was uh, uh he was a nice guy deep down, irrespective of whatever comes to mind. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. None of us will can come out and say, "Yeah, I'm different. I'm perfect." No, um, but we have to do something in January, something special, a live stream to honor him. He deserves that. He hardly ever argues. You could say I don't know if it'd be right to say senselessly, but he almost always tries to be objective. Of course, he's human. Sometimes you can unknowingly be biased a bit because it's a human thing. You're not a machine pre-programmed to just go by numbers and all that. We all have opinions, but he'll be the one to tell you, okay, you're talking about, for instance, a firing this manager. He's been here just for 6 months or some. I remember in the case of Pochettino, was it Potter, that he hasn't even walked into his office, and you guys are talking about firing him. Give him time. And when you mention we're losing, he should have. I said that's not enough sample size. We're just 7, 8, 9 games into the season. He deserves time.
Another Rogerism,
Yeah,
sample size.
sample size. Yeah.
Yeah, he was never in a hurry to offload a manager or to change things. He always had patience. That's one thing we raised this morning. He was ready to stick with Potter through thick and thin. Uh, Pochettino, the same thing. Um, amazing guy, amazing guy.
He was an amazing guy, and I don't know if I will ever get a chance to speak with his family. His family, I'd love to. We did. The plan was to actually meet because he told me he'd be coming back to the States. I think it was about six. Was it 6 months ago or about 5 months ago? We talked about finding time to meet, suggesting steakhouses in Texas. One that he'd been to that I'd like it and all that. Um, and he's not too serious. I don't know, he's gifted that finds a way to make everybody laugh on the panel. The tea lady talk, I think it was Roger that started that. Um, yeah, life. The biggest lesson: be cheerful, let go as quickly as you can. Don't hold on to grudges or let bad energy fester. Be selfless as possible as you can. Let it not be just about you. Take care of other people whenever you can. You know.
Absolutely. I don't know where Ty's gone. Has he vanished? He's vanished. Dante's vanished.
I knew, yeah, you probably not gonna. I knew you'd not. You'll be pained, Bobby. Once I heard that, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in shock. I've been, it hasn't felt good. I've shed tears. It's amazing. I have never ever felt so strongly for somebody I have never met. That just says everything as to who Roger was.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ty.
Oh gosh, man, I'm so sorry, man. Listen, this is just adding salt to injury, literally. I don't know. Oh, coach is gone now. I wanted to give you guys the chance to speak on Roger, so that's why I didn't end the stream, because on my end it's not allowing me to stay on. But man, I was able to hear. This is why I'm not understanding what's going on, because when I'm on stream here, it kicks me off. But on YouTube, it's working perfectly fine. So it's not the connection; it's just StreamYard, and I don't know why. It's the same thing that was happening when I was on Michi Boy's stream as well. No matter what, I used my phone; it wasn't working. You guys weren't able to hear me, so I don't know. It's strange, but just listening to what coach had to say, and because I'm gonna conclude the stream soon after this, but I just wanted to add this as well. Um, it's very unfortunate, the whole situation with Chelsea perspective and that community, and the way in which everything happened. Obviously, you'd know what exactly happened in terms of all that. I don't want to really do that because that's somewhat, to me, irrelevant to mention, but it really is unfortunate. I'm grateful for the fact that I went on to Michi Boy's stream when Roger was co-host, or he was the one that was holding down the fort for Michi Boy, who may have been at work or something. And to just have that final conversation with him, albeit I obviously wouldn't have known that it would have been the final one, but man, it's unfortunate, but it really is. And it's like I said on Michi Boy's stream, even though I was in and out of crying and stop crying, stop crying, and the truth is, there's just one thing about death that you just can never really get past, because you know that death happens. It's one thing that I would say, if you don't know anything else, that that's something that you can expect. It will happen.
inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable. But sometimes when you lose certain people, and as you said, coach, it feels as if I've lost a family member. And you said it, and I was hoping someone would say this, but we are a family. Well, Bobby mentioned that we're brothers, and brothers fight sometimes. But as you said, it really is unfortunate that the circumstances that ended up happened, and then that led to some sort of division to some extent. It really is unfortunate. Um, but yeah, and as Michi Boy said, the plan was that, because I was fortunate enough to be at some of those streams where Roger was the one that was hosting while you were at work and all of that, Michi Boy. And I was just grateful of the fact that I went on when I did. And the funny thing is, I didn't really want to mention this earlier because obviously Michi Boy was having challenges in terms of meaning, well, I don't want to say strong, because I wouldn't say crying is a sign of weakness, because obviously the friendship got
Let me correct you. Being emotional It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. A
Yeah.
lot of people
Right.
misunderstand that. That
Right.
means you have empathy, which means you
Yeah.
can become a good leader tomorrow. You can quickly know when somebody needs your help, even without them saying something. So it's not a sign of weakness. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. It shows you're
Yeah.
human, and people will like you
Yeah.
even more because of that. So crying is not a sign of weakness. Those
Yeah.
that everybody doesn't have that. You're blessed actually to be able to release that emotion and show, yeah, you do care about someone, that the passing of that person affects you deep down. It's a strength, it's not a weakness. I've heard people say that 1,000 times. Do not worry, Ty. I understand. It's coming from a place of love, knowing that, yeah, you'd never get to see that person again. And there are lots of advantages to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, because I mean, you mentioned about empathy. Um, but as Michi Boy is saying, I mean, I'm an empath. I sometimes I hate it, sometimes I love it. But because of that, when I was watching the stream before I came on, I could see that Michi Boy was struggling, and I had to go on because I said no, because I don't want it to be a case where he breaks down, and then like he's just there. But then I went on, and then he started crying, and then I started crying, and then it was just ah. But man, yeah, as you said, coach, uh, Roger is the second individual at the top of my head that I can remember from the community that when I heard about the passing, I broke down immediately. The first one was, well, I don't know if I should mention the name, but yeah, it was because of you, coach. I found out on your stream about that passing, and I immediately broke down. But yeah, you guys, I heard what you guys said. Roger was, yeah. It still pains me to be seeing past tense to that. It's just, oh, but as you said,
Hi, please, if you can see me, I am your neighbor across the street here. Hi, hello. I don't know if it was your wife the day my son ran out that found him and returned him to our house.
I think Coach didn't realize that he was unmuted. But yes, uh, well, this is unfortunate though. Yeah, but yeah, it's like Coach said it best. People tend to say, being emotional or crying is a sign of weakness, but no. I mean, I'm actually studying psychology and all of that, and I mean, and even counseling. So I know for a fact that that shouldn't be seen as a sign of weakness. People who tend to not be comfortable with their emotions or know how to control their emotions, or rather, or one with their emotions, they tend to be more aggressive than anything. I don't want to turn this into some therapeutic session. It's Chelsea sessions, and usually the therapeutic sessions would be talking about Chelsea, but it's impossible not to mention this. I mean, I think it's best, and Coach said it as I said, that if I think it's better if you're able to cry, because it helps with the grieving process,
Is
because
that a comment from Mitchy Boy? What did he say? I can't see it. I've just seen his
yeah,
image.
it says, by the way, I was brought up not to cry. And I mean, I could tell that that was the key. Not that you were brought up, but that you were trying to. Because when he was talking for the first part of that stream, he had to be biting his lip. He had to be stopping mid sentence, and that is when I realized that he was going to. And that's why I quickly went on and tried to see, okay, so if that happens, I could at least say something, give my tribute. But as I said, just seeing him in so much pain, I don't know, say I felt his pain, because I hate saying that, because everybody's pain is different, and obviously his relationship is completely different from mine. I can just say that and coach was the one that even lets me know that Roger was fond of the play profile analysis videos that I do. And then he messaged me, he followed me, and then he told me that he wants me to do more. He wants me to release this video, do this video on this player. And and all of that. So that made it even worse. And then I've had my challenges with mental health, and when I tweeted about it, he was one of the first persons to say that I don't know what the root cause of it is, but just know that I'm here if you want to speak and all of that, and I appreciated that. So it really is a testament to what Coach said about the type of person he was. God. And I'm sorry, I can't continue. I'm sorry. I can't.
It's all good. Like they say, until we meet again, none of us will live forever. I just hope that I'll have enough to do as much good as I want to do in the world, impact people's lives, and yeah, when that time comes, if there's a way to look back, I look back and say, yeah, I'm good. Until we meet again, we can't change it. We cannot change it. I'm not the. Ah, it's painful, really. Um, it's painful. I get it. Wow, what a world.
Yeah. What a world
What a
indeed.
world.
Right. Gosh. Anyways, you guys don't have anything else you want to say?
No, I think for me, this is a good place to conclude it. I've, I don't know. I think for me, I just need to go back and reflect and process everything about him. But one thing is for sure, we are part of his legacy as a human being. The fact that people can remember him so fondly, that he has never physically met, but he spent hours talking to. It's a massive, massive thing and a testimony to his character.
Yeah, that's well said. I just want to bring this back up one last time. Um, right. So took the liberty of doing this. I'm not the greatest graphic designer, but I just decided to do this. Uh, Roger Blue, or Blue Roger Dodger, as Mitchy Boy used to call him, or Roger Dodgy. As I said before, I like to extend my condolences to the family of Roger, because it's a lot. But I just want to add this. I keep prolonging this, and I don't know. It probably isn't best for me, because I'm trying not to cry again. But
Yeah,
this,
Bobby's right. We just have to reflect. It's really that simple. We
yeah,
need to reflect, see what we can learn. A lot to learn from him, the sort of person he was. I mean, be truthful to ourselves. Yeah, and January we go again, the live show on Trust Perspective. Hopefully, again, it's going to be crazy for me because moving is one thing, packing is the most difficult aspect of the moving. So, unpacking, so to speak. So, I'm going to try to find time to get clips uh, you can say commentaries, maybe, or debates, or maybe conversations in Trust Perspective to just spice up things on that day. Um, Glad to be there forever. The world will forever remember him as someone that loved Chelsea deep down.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah, and the English national team.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to really don't want to prolong this, but these things have been happening where people cross my mind, and then after this type of news follows. And funny enough, I actually went back onto your channel, coach, and I was specifically to listen back to some of the streams that Roger was on, not knowing anything about this, and I was struggling to find aspects where he came on. But you know, after the amount of losses that I've experienced and seen, it made me realize that it's best to say some of the things that you think about people that are positive when they're alive, and not wait for when they're gone, because as much as it helps in the grieving process, it at times it's best to say to person. So that is why no matter what, I try to express my gratitude to each and every one of you guys, because uh, I'm fond of all of you, and I always say, if there's one thing the whole pandemic and all of this gave to me personally, it's another type of family, a brotherhood that I will cherish forever, because I don't think without that happening I would have been able to beat either one of you. So I appreciate both of you. And I've always said that. I've always tried to contribute as much as I can and support you in particular, coach, whenever I can, because it's something that it's not something that you get often. So yeah, but yeah.
I mean, let's just reflect, like Bobby said. It's all love, and again, you say this is an opportunity for all also to learn. Yeah, that we're more than just a Chelsea followers, because we have strong bonds, and chances are some of us have stronger bonds with people you haven't met in person, but because they love Chelsea, you love Chelsea, you can say, become family. You're even closer to them than some of your family members. I'm not gonna lie. I think in my case it's like that. And you become. It's just more than being Chelsea fans. And one thing we have in common, you don't see. We're not negative. We always try to see things from a positive perspective. Yes, when things get worse, we do speak the truth. We do speak the truth and say, yeah, it is like this because of these factors. And look at, we do speak the truth and then talk about what can be done for us to become better. I think that has brought us together. We've gone from being Chelsea fans to becoming brothers, just like what you mentioned. And it's only natural that every now and then we have disagreements. And as long as the disagreements are football related, I don't think we should let it fester. Just find closure as soon as possible and move on. That's the biggest lesson I'm learning from this. But yeah, it has happened. We just have to reflect. We just have to reflect. I did this search on my content. The term Roger. Yeah, I think probably more than 100, should be in the hundreds of live streams that he was part of. Yeah, more than 100. It's not. He's not didn't gain anything for it except for the joy of discussing the club he loved so much, or discussing the sports he loved so much, the sport he loved so much, which is football to be more specific. Nothing was a paid member that he didn't need to be actually. Jesus Christ! I just searched Roger. Yeah, a lot. Live streams, 3 hours plus 3 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 6 hours during transfer window under Thomas Tuchel. Sorry if you can still hear me. My phone is shutting down.
All right. All right. So as you guys said, we can reflect and just do that. So that being said, for the last time I'll say this, well, in this stream, rest in peace, Roger, and it really was a pleasure meeting him, and at the time that I did.